What is mental landscape? It's the way we represent reality spatially. Everybody has one, and everybody's is different. Rather than theorise, let me give you an example. If I think about people, the people who are emotionally close to me, they tend to be close here. So my family, my sisters, my close friends. Whereas if I think of somebody who was a good friend in the past, but maybe we've kind of lost touch, then when I think about her, she might be a bit further away over there. Now, each of us are usually unconscious of our mental landscape, but with a little bit of questioning, it's very easy to find out where people, where concepts like projects, goals, concepts like self-esteem, concepts like confidence, all of these will be arranged around us. And as a coach, helping my clients to find out where things are in their mental landscape can be the key to unlock all sorts of things. As a coach, I want to help my clients achieve their goals. I also want to help them to be free of the things that get in the way of them achieving their goals. A mental landscape in relation to relationships can be very useful. For example, when clients are getting divorced, often I find that the person that is their ex or soon to be ex will have a big impact on them. Often they'll say, they're in my face, and they will actually find that in their mental landscape that the ex is right in their face. And they can't seem to get free to think about where they might be going forward. They can't get free to relax. There's this anxiety there all the time. And so what we can do in mental landscape is we can help them to find more space and move the person further away in the mental landscape. Now, it's really funny how mental landscape works, because they might say, oh yeah, I want to move them like way over there, or way over there behind me. And then after a while they go, actually that doesn't feel right. And what happens is they'll say, no, I think they need to come back a little bit because I need to kind of keep my eye on them. And so they don't want them to be prominent, but they do need to keep an eye on them. I had one client who put his divorcing ex in a rabbit hutch so that she was partly hidden most of the time, but if she came out to cause trouble, he could keep an eye on her. Now that's one context with relationships. Also in business and in families, finding out where people are can contribute to conflict and can also contribute to harmony. If we talk about business for a minute, if you've got a client who wants to achieve some kind of business goal, if they're not achieving what they want, perhaps they're not paying the attention to the thing that they want to achieve, or perhaps they are applying themselves but it just doesn't seem to be working. Often the mental landscape will help you understand what is going on and how to help them to achieve that goal more easily. For example, the first client I worked with was an accountant. This is after I trained in thought pattern management, and I went to see him the usual sort of every fortnight. How are things going in business? And he said, oh, my partners are giving me such a hard time. He says, I've got this project and I should be doing it and I'm not. And it was to do with putting together a business plan to expand the business. Now, it was something he wanted to do. It was something that he had all the skills to do. He was an accountant. And yet he wasn't doing it. And when I asked him a little bit more about it, the phrase he used was, I just can't seem to get my head round it. And often there's a link between the language we use and where things are in our mental landscape. And so when I asked him, a little bit nervous the first time I'd used mental landscaping, and if you were to point to where that project is, where would it be? And straight away he pointed here. I can't get my head round it, it was right here. And when I was able to help him move it to a better place, a place to where projects were located that he was working on, he completely changed. His body language changed and he said, oh, that feels much better. And he was then able to progress the project. Mental landscape can also help with habits. So for example, if somebody is not doing exercise and they want to change that, or if they want to change eating habits or drinking habits, moving things in the mental landscape can be the simplest way to make those changes, and they last. Mental landscape can also be helpful when clients have got some limiting beliefs about what's possible. I remember I had one client who was trying to move forward in her career, and she felt her career was over here, just a little bit out of reach. But actually, when we explored a few other things in her mental landscape, what was key was that she couldn't find her self-esteem. She looked everywhere. In her inner mind, she looked everywhere to see where it was located. So you could be quite playful with mental landscape. So I asked her to send in an army of searchers and imagine that they had torchlights attached to their head and that they would look everywhere, all round about her mental landscape, above, below, behind. And when she realised, what she realised was that in her mental landscape, her self-esteem was right under her feet, and she'd been trampling on it. So sometimes it can reveal some quite deep things that are going on, and again, it saves you time as a practitioner because you then know what to work with to get the results quicker with your clients. Now, this is just scratching the surface of what's possible. It can also be used to help with relieving pain. It can be used when people have had, one client Rob worked with, the people in her life were all on her forehead, and she had huge anxiety all the time. She wouldn't leave the house, and she had physiological conditions that basically psychiatrists and doctors had all given up on. And the solution came by simply moving people where they were located, their internal representation, moving them in her mental landscape. I've worked with people with pain to help relieve things. I've also worked with people who have had a block between where they want to be and some goal that they want to achieve. Now, I don't want to make this sound that it's all dead easy, because the mind has got rules that it follows, and there are principles. And we've discovered through many years of plotting mental landscapes that there are ways to work that are ecological, and there are ways to work that are more effective and that help achieve the lasting change. Oh, another area I should mention as well is grief, and when people are still stuck in a loss, feeling a sense of loss about something, often it's to do with where they are located in the mental landscape. So the course that we're running with Thought Pattern Management will go through all of the principles for how to help a client to change whatever they want to change in their mental landscape. The course is designed specifically for people who have got some kind of experience of working with others. So if you're a coach, it's perfect. Also, it's an ICF accredited course for CPD purposes. But coaches, you guys know how to ask questions, you know how to listen, and you know how to facilitate. If you are a practitioner in some other field and you have these skills and you're used to working with clients, then come along as well. This course will be relevant for you. What's great about mental landscape is that it can fit in with any other modality, any other way that you're working. So coaches love it, so do therapists, so do people who work in business. You can make it apply to all contexts.